Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the time. I know you had too much option to select in this event, so thank you very much for being here. My name is Waldemar Pera. Yeah, it's not Waldemar, it's Waldemar, yeah, because I'm born in Uruguay, but I live in Chile in the last 11 years. I work in VMware, formerly Virtual Cloud Network Solution Engineering, but also working leads network and security architecture to my team. This presentation today, because I have more, but the first one is talking about how VMware is involved in the security part in the multi-cloud world. And what the talking here is what is record from the end device to the cloud, whatever is running the application, and something in the middle, but in each point see the security will focus. Let's start there. When the starting see, you surely see a lot of time this slide, but the question is the diversity point, the diversity of the environment, where is the user, where is the application, and that creates a new risk, a new developer things to see different way the security. When you think in this topic, the more important thing is for the security, the high risk. Why? Because in a static, more traditional or legacy model, you have some tools to fix everything around the security. But in a new environment, you need to come back and not focus in the tools and focus in the security objectives. What is my target from the security view? And that target with a specific tool for each specific environment. If you don't think that way, starting to see a complexity, because you have a lot different environment, a lot different solution tools, and the question is, what is my today posture of security? Maybe I need to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 console, and the end is, I don't know. That is the rush. I think it's the nightmare for the CISOs or the people who handle the security. Too much thing to handle and different environment. So, what is the point? You thinking first, the cloud is not a place. Cloud is a model operational. It's the way to operate. That it. In the bed, when you open the car and see what is the engine, inside the cloud is automation. And that is the key. To driven around this mixed and complex environment, you need to go the security and automation way. In this point, when you adopt the cloud model, operational model, you improving your security. It's not a collision. You need starting to see the model operational, the automation, like the true and real and unique way to remain in the security way. When you're thinking in the automation, where is the human touch this car building? Where? I don't see any human here. You have car, you drive car. You put your life inside that car without human touching. Maybe in the end, the quality assurance maybe seems unhuman. So, for decades, for years, you trust in that automation. Why the IT not trust in the automation? For the security. It's a mindset problem. We have the tools, yeah, but the problem is not the focus in the tools. It's why my target. I need to see not only where running the application, my data center, the hybrid cloud, the public cloud. No, we need to see end-to-end, starting also for the device. Split the problem. First one, what happened in any application and any cloud? In the end, our applications, doesn't matter it's running in my on-premise, doesn't matter where it's running, and now you have legacy application and modern application and possibility both in the same times. How provide that execution? Usually the people in the security say, yeah, I have a perimeter. I have the user and the rest of the world. For the last years, you have the pandemic. Where are you working? In the office. What is the perimeter? Doesn't exist, the perimeter. Not exists before. The perimeter really is in the endpoint. Each endpoint is a perimeter security. It's the point where you put the security in each endpoint, not a central security. It's a true distributed security. And that is my idea. I have the user, I don't know, and a device. It's not only the computer, maybe something that in the pocket or wherever. They bring in your device, but I still my target security. I need go that flow application between the user and the data. So in the end, cloud security means data security. That is my target. Protect the data. When you're thinking, sometimes the people think, it's private cloud versus public cloud. Is it true? Is really the problem? No. The problem is my modern app versus my traditional application. That is the way. Why? Because my security target, my security option, maybe it's the same. Yes, it still remains. But because you change the environment, you need thinking different, and what is the tool applied to different environment. The target, the object is exactly the same, but not the environment. Starting with what part? Traditional application. When you go to the traditional application, usually I need C. Why? Because I can protect what I can see. My zero problem is visibility. And when you're starting in the legacy way, in the bare metal, you have a port. You capture the information, the flow of the port. But when you go to the virtualization computing, you have a box, having a lot of information, maybe inside. So it's not enough to see what happened in the network, physical. I need to go deeper because I can stop. I can create the rules for my security if I'm not aware what happened in my flows. So that's my situation. It's not change mindset. I blind from the security. It's I am blind. I don't can protect. What is the idea? Taking the hypervisor, not like a stopper for security, like an opportunity. And with this opportunity, it's possible taking that hypervisor for full visibility. If I have full visibility, I have the option, awareness, to take my decision. Partial visibility is a risk because you don't see everything. So maybe missing something important. So it's perfect target object. And it's possible with the technology today, see all connection and conversation. With that, it's possible thinking what is the problem today and what is challenging when you're thinking only in the tools. Basic example, ransomware attack. Sometimes the organization, I have a ransomware. Why? Because my data store is encrypted. Sorry, your ransomware starting not with the problem. Maybe several months ago, some guy in some place open an email, click in a link, and provide a workstation to outside people, the bad guys. You only see when in this, the last stage of the problem. But no. Sorry, Waldemar, I hire a firewall. I hire an IPS, an antivirus. Well, yeah. You got a lot of tools. But mainly, the lateral movement was a sample RDP. RDP is a bad code? No. Something alarm to the IPS? Of course, no. But that way, the path to my risk. So, it's not enough the traditional way. You need improve the visibility, include to exchange behavior. While you include that part in, for example, about NSX ATP, you include the visibility for that, and don't see the events in a solid way. It's a single picture altogether. That is why the traditional. And 2021, okay, we tested the solution, the NDR ATA, and working, zero false positive. That is real malware. But it's time. Okay, don't worry. Last year, and again, in the RCX security conference, okay, still the NCS NDR ITP is winner, but endpoint also, Carbon Black. And this year, you had all that points from VMware and all talking about security. It's not a single tool. You need different tools to different point of view to really see everything. Okay, Waldemar. With that solution, you have covered everything, but it's all in the on-premise because you have a vSphere, you start NCX, yeah. But I need to go to the public cloud. You need running in the public cloud, but by me, it's possible running in some bubble VMware in the side cloud. You're running here the same stack in the on-premise, the same NSX solution, so you have the same solution everywhere for legacy application. You have the power, you have the decision. When you do more, this maybe sometimes the people doesn't matter. Move it to the public cloud. It's easy. You have a lot of tools to go from my on-premise to the public cloud. Okay, and they come back. Convert my native public cloud VM to, but you have this VMware in every place. You have the same virtual machine in every place. You have a long vMotion option to review, HCX. You have go, back, or change your provider. And again, you have the power, you have the selection. What happens with the modern apps? The problem is the problem. Why? It's not simple. I had 3 machines. Where database? Yeah. No. This simple way, that is the map of the application. And when you see this starting, you're starting to see API connection in between itself. And you need to see what happens in the API. Is the same problem? Yeah, it's the same problem. But I can put a firewall. I can put a GPS. Not that way. Because it's different environment. Don't push. You have a lot of abstraction in the Kubernetes. But your idea remains, I need to see everything. I need change, adapt the tool for my environment to follow my target, visibility. And the same way, because I have visibility, I have option to security. And in the end, see all connection and conversation. The objective remains. It's the same. The change is the tool. Because if I see, I have a hammer, I see everything, a nail. Maybe no, maybe I have a screwdriver. One of the things here is not only the place where running the application, you need the environment protection, because it's a lot of abstraction in place. So the Kubernetes part includes additional things that normally I don't take care sometimes on premise, especially because that running in the public cloud native, maybe. And we take in there, it's possible, for example, taking a distributed application in the different Kubernetes provider, clouds, whatever, and possibly go in deeper in each point, starting to see the connection between self, the API's connection, and started to see, okay, I need the IP security for the application, and see I have a source, I have a destination, I have a port. What's the matter? It's like in a firewall here. Yeah. The concept is the same. Source, destination, rule. It's the different tool, but the objective is the same. But not only in the layer 4 level. It's possible to go deeper and see what happened in layer 7. Similar with how you today capabilities for NSX distributed firewall for layer 7. Is the same concept? Yeah. Is the same tool? No, but it's adapted because the environment is different. Okay. Yeah, Waldemar. Legacy applications, new applications, but there exists something serverless function in the cloud public. If we're running is an URL. You can put a firewall in the front of the URL. No, because you don't have control. It's something, some resource to take it. So what is my decision? Okay, a price, nothing for, no. You remember the old concept for penetration test? This for 4 years, for 6 years. The problem now is the environment is too much dynamic. So really, you need a pen test in each minute. That is possible today? Yeah. When you collect area automation with contained guardrails, you collect the Kubernetes things, you connect something around the VMs, and that is other strange things, for example, like a serverless. It's important to me? Yes, of course. Reminder, data security. Where is the data? That is my problem. I need to adapt that. Firewall, no. What you need is see all connection. See what happened in between, and provide an automation tool to see and adapt the risk, and that will happen. And again, you have the tool, but you need to adapt the tool to the environment. Okay, application. Jump to other opposite. The user, the device, the place. You have from VMware different tools for workspace ones to handle the user, the end device. But when you're thinking that user, it's not only the end user, it's not only the application, as what is the network between them? You remember any cloud, any device, right? I say any network. It's not always you in the office, see in the private network, maybe in your home, maybe in the street. So you need fix. You need thinking, doesn't matter where is your location. And that is the idea behind SASE. With SASE, you have the option not only to connect that things, because that is ACD1, or additional service. These additional services focus in security. In the end, simplify the connection, in the same time, simplify the security. Put the same policy security for each user in the remote office with the home without change, because doesn't matter the location. My target is protect the data. When you think here, you have a lot of option, and that is provided. And some service inside the SASE solution for us include security. Note, and also it's possible to connect with third part for the security. And again, you have the option, you have the power. Okay, Waldemar, let me more. What is the other problem? The device by itself. It's not the remote office, it's possible talking with some guy, device man. No, maybe it's in the home. So I need taking that device in my office, wherever. Maybe the more traditional security device, thinking in antivirus, anti-malware, depending what you're talking, vulnerability, and DDR. Okay, is enough? No. Because you know, maybe, what is the network connect that device? I don't know. So you need additional tools to protect. Where? That device is my endpoint perimeter. Each device is an endpoint, because I don't know the network, any network. But not enough. What happens when you have multi-device? What happens when you have a user? No, I have my device. I don't explain what is the generation, prefer or no. I am an old man, but you know. It's a risk, and this is no, it's impossible. You lost. But you provide some tools, include and manage a device. That is possible? Yes, of course. In that case, you have that posture. First, who I am, my authentication. I suppose you know only password today, some multi-factor authentication. Depend the device, depend the user, whatever, token, certificate, whatever. Second, the device by itself is do all patches a day, is a corporate device, is not a no corporate device. What is the connection? What is the place where running this user? In the office, in the home? It's possible it has different options to access, depend the application or the location? Yes, of course, maybe because in the office you see what's happening on the user, but in the home you have a cam to see every place in every moment at the user, no. So you need thinker the worst scenario. So you need adapt. And then the endpoint. When you go this, that is the focus, especially when you're talking about workspace one, talking about user and device. It's part of the complete story, yeah. Because in the end, you're talking an end-to-end solution. That is the target. It's not thinking a small piece. Yes, no, well, I don't use everything from VMware. It's okay. But you need in each piece and try connect in a logical way for you. Because in the end, the problem is the day two, the operational guy. You need simplify because if something is complex, it's more risks. While you're talking that, it's possible to see sometime from VMware about the context. What is the idea context? It's collect information with thinking in security for each solution from VMware. Maybe the device, maybe the network, maybe something in the middle. Put all that information together, and we have in the back end some very smart people provide, adapt, collect, and respond on the chain. That is context. You don't see it. You don't buy it. No, it's embedded in the solution. Each one, you put your money for some VMware solution that includes security in the behind context as there. It's the intelligent collection and response. And when you talk now with the zero trust is not new, maybe 12, 13 years ago, maybe starting. But now, feeling is necessary, or maybe now I have the tools. When you see, it's the same problem. It's not only the device, it's not only the application, it's see each stage in that problem in a single way. And you need power, the correlation in everything, because you need C to come to protect. Is a short session, of course. It's not enough time to go in deeper for each option, but invite to see in the video catalog, you have several pieces to different topics, go deeper for that part. And additional, auto-promotion, I have a second session later and two sessions tomorrow, like I see. También hablamos español-castellano por alguno que ande por ahí. With that, that's the first station. It's just an open mouth to thinking different. We need to change the mindset. The technology is already. The human, we are the problem. Thank you.
Take it up.
Hello, everyone. We'll start with the disclaimer. I'll flash it for a couple of few seconds. In recent years, with increasing popularity of modern cloud platforms and increasing adoption of microservices-based architecture, there has been a paradigm shift in the way we monitor our services and systems. With private, public, and hybrid clouds and the modern distributed infrastructure or the distributed services and its inherent complexities, there has been the approach to monitor these services has changed significantly. There are many unknown breakpoints, and when breakdown happens in the production, it would be like finding a needle in the haystack to identify or pinpoint or to reach the root cause of the actual issue. Here today, in this session, we will cover how VMware IT embraced or adopted observability and use area operations as the observability platform. Area operations for applications as the observability platform. We all know about observability. We know all about monitoring. So what is observability? So observability and monitoring are two related but distinct concepts in the context of monitoring systems or applications or in case of service operations. Let's try to differentiate both. Monitoring is a process of collecting data or metrics from remote systems to track its health, performance, or availability. Observability, on the other hand, is a more holistic and comprehensive approach. It refers to the system's ability to report its insights in internal state and behavior even when things are not functioning properly or as expected. It is more of an outside-in approach compared to the monitoring approach of how we get the data out. So in a nutshell, observability provides answers to why something is wrong and thereby helps address those challenges and fix it and reduce the MTTR. How does observability does this? How do we achieve this? For this, let's come to the three pillars of observability: the metrics, traces, and logs. We are familiar with metrics and logs, but traces is a relatively a newcomer in this space. So what is a trace? Trace is the entire operation or the set of operations that happen within a distributed system. It collects minute details, something that we call as spans, and that is reported to the reporting server or the observability platform. So this is the tool that we are talking about, VMware Area Operations for Applications. It's a high-scale analytical platform which can accept the three pillars of observability, which are traces, metrics, and logs. And this helps in monitoring or observing the systems that are distributed across multi-clouds or multiple data centers. VMware Area Operations for Applications provide end-to-end visibility or observability for infrastructure components like network, host, ESXi servers, or containers, and application components like transactions, containers, or databases, middlewares, web servers. So that extent, it can provide the end-to-end observability. We'll see the general architecture, a very high-level architecture that we have employed at our place. So our workloads run in multiple public clouds, private cloud, and on data centers. So we use a proxy to route all the traces, metrics, and logs to area operations for applications. And it supports the direct ingestion as well. But using a proxy is always advantageous because it helps in doing filtering and sampling and other, connection-oriented services. It does batching and helps in effective utilization of the bandwidth as well. VMware Area Operations for Applications provides in-depth insights to various personas like application owners, site reliability engineers, or business owners. It has the built-in dashboards, or you can build custom dashboard to suit your requirements and have a single pane of visibility for your service or applications. It can alert if any anomaly happens in the systems so that the stakeholders are notified, and it does something like a proactiveness. Before the system, is going to crash or end into issues, it can proactively notify based on complex AML notions. So in our SaaS transformation journey, when it comes to observability and monitoring, we had few requirements. The back office and front office operations are equally critical, and we need to trace the transactions right from the origin or the user interaction all the way to the back end, traversing through the core components that it goes through in. And as the systems grow complex, finding the breakpoint is time, or the MTTI, to as small as possible. The user phrasing or the origin of the request. So seamless troubleshooting is the need of the hour. We cannot spend hours on fixing, which is a very mission critical system. So that was another requirement. And observability can provide in-depth, apart from the operation side, data insights. It can be user behavior. It can be like revenue trends. It can be like product usage. So another core requirement was to capture these business insights from the system. Okay, so these were our core considerations when we were going with the observability. Yeah, and we faced few challenges, right? So with the existing setup, it was monitored, different components were monitored by different systems, okay? So it's all siloed, there is no scope of correlation, limited visibility because, to a certain extent, let's say load balancer, it's monitored by a specific tool. Or let's say a set of, core infra services, another tool. So end-to-end visibility was very limited. So that was another challenge. And so distributed troubleshooting, as I said, is all related, no correlation. And as we involved multiple tools, there is high learning curve as well, right? So the team need to know about how to use and manage those tools. So these were the challenges before we embarked on the observability journey. So for implementation, again, the 3 pillars. For metrics, we are using Telegraph. And for the Kubernetes platform related, we are using Kubernetes operators for it. For the cloud providers, we are using APIs to pull in scrap in the metrics. And it supports push metrics as well, right? And for traces, we have our own Wavefront SDKs or instrumentations. And where it fits best, we are using OpenTelemetry, Zipkin, or Jaeger. So it's all supported from the tracing point of view. For logs, we are using FluentD or FluentBit to push logs to the system. So integrations. Area operations for applications by default supports more than 250 integrations out of the box. This is a very comprehensive, not comprehensive, it's a basic list of what it supports as of now. The full list is in the link provided. And it is a generic integration approach as well. So you can push, it can collect, if you use some Telegraph agent or something, you can pull the metrics, or it is capable of receiving from the third-party sender. Okay, we'll see more about in the next those slides. So we will see, so the data is now in. Now what we can do with the data? How can we visualize it? And how can we get alerted when some anomalies are happening? So I will request Satya to cover that.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Majin, for handing off. Which one, green, right? Next. So when it comes to the operations dashboard, we have this centralized operation dashboard for operations related, where we can see the application metrics with respect to the which application is having what kind of issues with respect to metrics, errors, and duration, which is red metrics we call it as, which is nothing but coming to the requests, red metrics, request for seconds, how many number of requests which we receive for within seconds. And the second one is errors, how many errors which we received for the specific applications with the span of time. And the third one is the duration. Duration is nothing but how long the trace took the time of the duration, whether it's at 5 seconds or 10 seconds, like that. And coming to this application monitoring, we have these several filters over here. You can see this application dashboard, application filter. Here you have to, it's a kind of an interactive dashboard where you have to choose the application and following with the specific service and the operations and the span kind. If you have any specific HTTP status codes, if you want to check for 400 errors or 500 errors, and if any cluster things and shared services or direct services, and which kind of sources it was, whether it is a summarized view or just direct view, you can select the filters and get this complete list of view. And this the last one is coming to historical data, which is integrated with AI and ML concept, which will give you the complete list of requests in a historical view. Here is a link which will provide you you can share this link to the external ones, where you no need to log in to view this complete dashboard in operational perspective. And again, this is a kind of a same dashboard, which is for with respect to the service. Again, you have the same filters over here. And coming to here, this service, you need to select specific service to get the matrix of red matrix, which service is having causing issues within a span of time. And here is a top 5 list for total number of requests for which request is consuming the service, top 5 services. And this is for top 5 errors. And this is for the shortest duration for top 5. And the same way here you can see the component matrix and historical view. And the same way you can give the link for operations or other teams to view this complete dashboard for a troubleshooting purpose. The next is the custom dashboard. So custom dashboards is nothing but you can create your own dashboards with respect to the network or latency or a data center view or file systems or virtualization or anything TKG, Kubernetes, memory usage, request rate, pods, restart rates, and everything. And here you can see this one with the geographical top 5 response times.
Yeah, just to add to it, this is a custom dashboard, and this can be easily built with the custom dashboard builder. So you can choose the data points and creates widgets or graphs from it. And so it supports a lot of widgets which are built in. Just need to select it and select the data point, so it will populate. And it is, if you see, this is from a NS1 monitoring integration that we have. And this is a proxy, layer 1 proxy. So based on the need, so this is from the TKG environment. So you can create your own dashboard, which is highly customizable to your needs. Okay, so this is the custom dashboards. So you can also, the metrics of your interest can be used in creating these dashboards.
Yeah, and this is for tracing, browser tracing metrics, where you can see the trace of your application with a specific trace. This is, for example, if you take this trace, this is a service level map, and this is what the red matrix for the request, errors, and rates. And here you can see the trace details, and you can export the traces and you can share the link, and you can expand this each individual widget in a maximized view, and you can able to see everything.
Yeah. So you just, you can filter it using the operation of the trace ID.
Trace ID.
And once you narrow down to the trace of your interest, which you want to investigate what happened, you can go to that using these filters. And once you select that, it will show you the entire, the way the trace was propagating, right? So in this case, we see that there are 3 services that were involved. And if you click on it, it will show you each of the spans with the duration and the state of it, right? So it gives much more in-depth trace analysis here. So this is the traces browser.
Yeah, in next slide, you can see this specific trace for this specific printing service, where it give you the printing number of total of requests, and this related to the completely into a red matrix. And you can see the graph of calls between the services, and you can same way you can maximize and you can utilize this in a bigger view. It comes to this is the one where we have this spanning which trace is consuming the more response time within less time, where it causes the errors, and click the span. Yeah, this is what which one is taking more time. Yeah, coming to alerting, we have smart alerts and dynamically filtered noise. We have so many alerts we can configure based on our requirements to capture the anomalies. And we have multiple targets for integrations for ticketing tools, mail notifications, Slack, and identify the related firing alerts. And we can organize the related tags, alerts with the tags. This is a sample alert configuration for a latency of alert. So this is what the query, which you can able to see here. And when it reaches this threshold, it will trigger an alert to these affected services. And this is what the mail notification, which will go to the target.
Just to add, so Wavefront has, I get interchangeably with Wavefront. That was the prior name to this tool. So it has a query language called WQL, which is Wavefront query language. Very powerful query language, which you can use in creating your dashboards or charts, or even which can be used for defining your alert definitions. So in this case, this is a very simple query which says mean max of this particular matrix or on this on this tag, which is, if it is more than 160, it's a one condition, right? But this is kind of as of now, it seems like it's a very static alert definition, but it can be dynamic as well. It can look into the historical trend and use dynamic thresholds. Okay, so that feature is also present in there.
So next out, this outcomes.
Okay, so so it's evolving, and we are in this amazing journey of implementing end-to-end observability. So far what we have seen is now, instead of having a dispersed system, we have a common centralized observability platform, and we are still in this journey. So as and when our systems get more observable, we are adding to the stack. Okay. So with that, now in single pane or using intelligent alerting, we can actually get to the root cause and pinpoint, okay, this section or this component is what exactly is causing the issue. Okay, this can be using a visual cue from the dashboard or using smart alerting rules, we can get to it. And now we have, scope of correlation. Visualizations are better. It's in one single pane as we decide. And other thing is, this is what what was our biggest advantages that we received. It is when it comes to distributed microservices, now we have a visual path of how the transactions are going in, and we have visual cues where there is potential bottlenecks or breakages that can happen. And we have done many optimizations just seeing the detail of the span level. Okay, this particular span is taking more time than it is expected to, right? So earlier we had the end-to-end, now we have span level, breakdown of response times. right? So we did a lot of optimizations with it. And other thing is it is a SaaS solution, so there is no management overhead. All you have to, if you have an on-prem data center, all you need to have is few proxies and configure it to send. Yeah, so that's it for the presentation. I request you to take the survey. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. These are some disclaimers. I'll let you a few seconds to pass through it. So, how many of you here have experienced issues while connecting to office portals, applications, or even servers sometimes? Anyone? I bet you did, Bharat. And how many of you have felt you don't know what exactly the issue is, whether it's your laptop or office network or the application itself is slow? Yeah? Often, we tend to go to our colleagues and ask, hey, is it working for you? It's not working for me. And it always feels better if it's not working for everyone. And how many of you have been in jittery Zoom calls or lagging video calls? I think many of us have had that experience. So did we. And that's exactly what we are addressing here today. In this session, we'll go over VMware ENI, that's Edge Network Intelligence, and see how it helps to overcome these issues. So, quick agenda for today. We'll be discussing about few challenges in the edge monitoring space today. We'll go over the overview of ENI, that's the deployment model, the architecture, and the different data sources from which ENI can gather data. We will go over a few of the use cases that we found useful, and we will see the key benefits that ENI provides. And you can come to us with your questions offline. We'll be here to talk. And with that, I'll hand over to Bharat to talk about a few of the challenges that we are facing in today's era.
Okay. Well, in the previous slide, we discussed about the end user issues. In this slide, we're going to talk about the challenges from the IT side when an end user reported an issue. So during pandemic and as on now, we are still following the hybrid work culture, and the users are connected from remote locations. But still, it's an IT responsibility to provide and assist them with their issues. So today, enterprise infrastructure becoming more complex than ever, especially at the edge side. So the network processes a huge volume of data and a wide range of application sources, wide range of networks and devices as well. And not having a right product to assess the end-to-end connectivity, it is always the operational challenge for the IT to fix and identify the problem. And of course, the lack of observable systems will add on other challenges as well. So, I still remember during the pandemic, there was a user-reported issue saying that there is a jittery Zoom call and his VPN getting disconnected every time. And as an IT, we took a lot of time to identify the issue, and finally we got to know there was an issue with the Wi-Fi band he's connected on. Like he was connected on a 5 gigahertz, and he's sitting a little far from the Wi-Fi router. That's the reason the signal strength was very less, and his VPN and every application was disconnected very frequently. So we took more than half a day to fix and identify those issues. So those are the challenges basically as an IT we did see during the pandemic as remote users, because we don't see any product which can give you end-to-end connectivity from the end user side.
Yeah, thanks for bringing up that. So, we think we need to move on from traditional operations approach. To be specific, we need to move on from static to AI ops. Gone are the days when we had static systems which collect data, and you just have one single rule or alert to trigger that alert. In the era of AI, we need tools that gather data, analyze them over a period of time, learn the changes in the system, and come up with deviations for these alerts. To add on to that, we need to also shift from traditional monitoring approach to observability. So traditional monitoring approach is something when you get to know the issue when something is wrong. But in today's world, we need observable platforms which collect data, gather them from different touchpoints, monitoring touchpoints, for deeper analysis. because the end goal is not just to identify an incident and resolve it, but to deliver a desirable user experience.
Unlike a reactive approach to identify the problem, it is always essential to follow the proactive method. We all know that reactive approach will time consuming and it would potentially impact the user experience and the productivity. And today's systems should be empowered with the self-healing ability. To achieve a self-healing ability, we need systems with AIOps capability and proactive recommendation would lay a foundation for self-healing. Effectively, IT teams is looking for a simple automated solution which can provide more insight on the end user experience and end-to-end connectivity. To have this achieved, IT teams should be equipped with the right set of tools which can provide you more in detailed end-to-end network connectivity. So a quick recap that we discussed about the end user issues and we discussed about the challenges from the IT side, and we know what we need, and we have what we have now. VMware Network Intelligence, known as VMware ENI. So VMware ENI is a SaaS-based solution. It also supports private cloud and on-premise. VMware ENI uses machine learning algorithms and data analytics to process huge volume of dispersed data into some meaningful insights. And here the quick architecture of ENI, and it works for all the users who are working from remote, office, and anywhere. And it also supports the IoT devices. VMware ENI is also capable to monitor the enterprise Wi-Fi infrastructure. In VMware IT, we adopted to monitor the Wi-Fi infrastructure in our office. So it supports wireless LAN, and network services like DNS, DSCP, Radius, servers. The client app, which will be in the client side, and it is natively integrated with the VMware Velo SD-WAN. And also it supports the application integration with the application, as we mentioned here, a couple of things like Zoom, Salesforce, Azure, and Google Cloud, so on. And these are the data sources for the ENI. When you are in the branch or campus office, it collects the data from the LAN and wireless LAN, like wireless controller, access points where you are connected on. If you're wired, then it collects the data from the access switches where you're plugged in. And it also collects data from the packet. So it uses the switch port analyzer to collect the packet details. And it also collects the data from the network services like Radius, DSCP, DNS. It also measures the DNS timeout, DSCP latency and all. And the application metrics like application latency, application jitter, and application response time as well. And when it comes to SD-WAN, it collects the application flow metrics from the Velo, Edge, and Hub. When you're connected from home, there will be an agent which will be installed in your laptop, and it will keep sending the data to the ENI. It collects the data from the client app, and it also collects the application metrics from your edge machine to the respective application you're accessing into.
With that, we'll move on to use cases. So 3 years ago, the world ended up in pandemic, and most of the users went remote, meaning working from home. That brought up a lot of challenge to organizations to keep up with employee productivity and to deliver desirable user experience. So let's see how ENI helps us do that. Client app is a component of ENI which can be installed in end user devices like mobiles, Windows laptops, or Mac laptops. And once you install that, you get this user interface which has 4 different divisions. You have the device details, that is the end user device details, because most of the time what happens is The issue is not with the network or your Office VPN connectivity. It's with the end user devices. There might be high CPU utilization, memory utilization, or the device is just old. So ENI gives you the overall score and health of end users. Second one is your Wi-Fi network, that is your local Wi-Fi network. ENI tells us how good is your Wi-Fi strength, what's the speed of that, how good your gateway responding. It does a ping check for every 5 minutes for your gateway and gives us the status. And the third one is with the internet. ENI does a series of low-performing synthetic tests for some of the pre-configured websites and keep track of the latency, average response time, and gives you an overall score of how your internet connectivity is. And again, it is similar to VPN. It tracks off all your internal websites and gives you the results of latency and average response time. So let's see a demo of all this. How to navigate with the portal and what all details you could find. So you have the Wi-Fi details here, and it says your signal is mediocre, and you have the details of the SSID, DHCP, and your router, all these details. And again, with the VPN reachability, you have destination sites, and you have high latency marked for the sites which are having latency issues. Yeah. So we know that ENI collects all these data and gives us the status of this. But what does ENI do with this data? It analyzes this and compares this data. For example, suppose you are trying to access GitHub and your average response time is 1 minute. ENI compares this data with industry benchmark, and it finds out that the industry benchmark is 10 milliseconds. Now you know that you have a horrible connection. Again, ENI compares this data with different users across the world. And it's same for the VPN users, that's the internal websites. If you're trying to access Jira, Zoom, something like that, it collects all your data, the response time, high latency, and it compares this data with other users in your organization and gives you an overall score of how good is your connection. Again, if you find any issues while accessing these, ENI automatically creates an incident for you and finds out what would be the reason. That's whether it's your local laptop issues or a local Wi-Fi issues, whether the signal is not good or the VPN itself is down or having issues, or the application itself is slow. It does this with comparing data with all the end users that are accessing these at current point of time and creates an incident out of that. Let's see a short demo on what all details we could get in that. So you have all the root causes observed is client-side Wi-Fi issues, poor client Wi-Fi SNR, and you get this data with each and every metric. That is for your local Wi-Fi. You could also get this for DNS, whether your DNS resolution time is up to mark or not. You could get this for VPN connection, the gateway reachability. You also will have this data for applications that you are accessing. For example, if you are accessing Zoom, using Zoom most of the time in the day, it collects the data from the Zoom of all the meetings that you have attended and gives you an overall performance of the Zoom. That's how good was your audio quality, how good was your video quality, and many more. You have multiple application integrations with ENI so that it gives you the accessibility information for that.
In this use case, how VMware IT adopted this tool as an enterprise Wi-Fi monitoring. VMware ENI supports for SNMP v2, v3, and it also supports for the AMON protocol, which is Aruba's proprietary protocol. So in this demo, we are going to just take you through the controller view, how it looks like. So we have selected one of the controller from the Singapore, and in this dashboard, you'll be able to see the same, what are the access points which are connected, and what are the models and number of clients which are connected to. Sorry. So you can also see the group and custom group if you have created, AP state, and if you see any recent flaps, you'll be able to see it in the flapping column. Play model.
It's not working. Oops. Sorry about that. It's a demo, so the video is stuck.
And in the same dashboard, you'll be able to see the charts which are related to the Wi-Fi metrics, which is the radius score, AIM-on messages, SNMP get messages, and CPU and memory utilization of the controller, and radius accept and reject ratio, and completed time, and the radius average transaction time. If it is increased, so you might be seeing a lot of radius authentication issues from the ClearPass servers. This is the access. Next slide. This is the access point view, where you can able to select any of the access point, and these are the details you will be able to see in this page, and access point group and access point MAC address, IP address, which is related to the access point and radio properties. And also, you'll be able to see the clients who are connected on the access points and their device model numbers, and which band they are connected on. And this shows the charts with the access point details, like channel utilization, again, the Wi-Fi metrics, and client count. You will be able to see if you see any drop in the client count during the session, and that you can able to get an incident in the right side. And we just picked up one of the most common issues users will be facing during the Zoom call, and we are just going on a demo on the Zoom call issues. So in the incidents, you'll be able to see this is the trend of the incidents with the severity, and here you'll be able to see the priorities we have selected, and description of the issues, and the affected users or affected device here, and just click on the affected device, and Zoom is the top one, and out of 221 clients, like 94 clients are facing some issues, and which is compared to the baseline, which is more than the baseline. So, and which AP group they are connected on, and what are the client count based upon the 75% of the clients, which is TCP latency. And if you just click on the 16% clients, and you'll be able to see that TCP retransmit rate was high. That's the reason that might be the issues. And 3 clients were showing it's a Wi-Fi performance issues. If you just click further on the client side, so the dashboard looks like this. So it shows further details on the client. Client is connected on which access point, and what could be the issues. Like if you see here, it's showing retransmission rate was high on the 5 gigahertz, causing these issues. And it shows in the chart as well, like Wi-Fi performance index dropped just because of the Wi-Fi SNR was, like, signal to noise ratio was down there. So bad SNR was causing the Wi-Fi performance issues.
Yeah, just to add to that, all of these metrics are clickable. So once you click that, you'll get more details, and you can go on to the detailed report of these things. And ENI especially helps us as a self-diagnostic tool before going into an IT administrator with problems to find out where my issue is, whether it's my laptop or office network or the internet connectivity, or if it's the application itself. And to sum up the benefits or the use cases from what we have seen here, ENI is not just a monitoring tool, or it's not just an analytics tool. It's a combination of both. It's a combination of monitoring and analytics. So it gathers data from multiple touch points from the edge devices, analyze them over a period of time, and gives you recommendations and correlate these data with other data sources.
ENI provides a better end-user experience by correlating the data of the infrastructure and application both. So any issues for the end user, you can separate it on infrastructure and application. Most of the time, we have seen it falls under application, it falls under network, it falls under other infra. So this tool will help us to correlate them and provide the exact data of what happened during the issues.
Yep. We'll be here for any questions that you could ask us. And please take the survey. Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Survey.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your time. I know you have several options here for select, so thank you. My name is Waldemar Pera. I work in VMware, LATAM, Latin America. And my official role is Virtual Cloud Network Solution Engineering. My extended role is Network and Security Lead Architecture for my team. What is the idea in this session? Of course, it's only short, 25 minutes, it's not go in deeper, but put some idea that happened while they're talking on resilience idea. The DR, the business continuous plan, but doesn't work. The first things, what is the resilience? Depends who talking. To the CEO something, to the CFO something, to the networks, and for each people in the organization have different view what means. And that's the first problem. No consensus about what is the DR, what is the resilience for the organization, taking isolated decision, and that isolated decision is go to the worst scenario. And the question is, always I heard, I have the perfect DR, I prepare everything is, and DR's always working. My business continuous plan is perfect, or happens like something that. The question is not your problem. It's a human problem, and needs change the organization view for this problem. And the second part is what is DR, what is active standby, what is active, and what is the means when there's something going wrong. Is you put in the, no, it's your fault, it's my fault, it's fix the problem? No. The problem remains there. So we need him humble to see we are not the center of the world. The center of the world is the business, not the IT people. Yeah, I love it, all works. Yeah, I know. But no, the business is the center. You need thinking in resilience for the business, not for my VM, my neighbor, or whatever. So, why happened this problem? In the beginning, the developer team has an idea. One application for something. Yeah, perfect. Let me thinking. Okay, yes, you use it with application. Yeah, nothing more. Or something like that. In the end, it's not a simple thing. You have a complex system. It's not like in a human body, but IT system today has enough complexity. It's not a single way. And what is the problem? Second one. When you talk in the developer, you say, okay, you have the application, yeah. And when you have the idea or the proposal to protect this application, yeah? Or expected like the first infrastructure provide for you the resilience needed. And that is the way for the legacy application. If you go to the legacy application, big number is not resilience by itself. Needs something from the below infra to support it. So translate the problem for the infra people. And then, while you're talking about, for example, cloud native application, Kubernetes application, it's different. You have a lot of abstraction in that case. And the Kubernetes idea, taking this problem and thinking in a way, you have a lot of things inside the Kubernetes abstraction to provide. So, the DR thinking to the legacy application is not the same for the Kubernetes application. And I need two different approach because I have two different ways to provide application with two different environment and sometimes no end on-premise. Data center today is not only on-premise, it's where you running the application, including public and hybrid cloud. So, when you're talking this thing, okay, I have everything. Believe me, true story. Several years ago, starting in one organization like a telecommunication manager. My first meeting with the IT manager, oh yeah, I had a perfect year. Yeah, explain me. I have this building, yeah. I have my main data center, and this is the office where the people work, yeah. And two, three blocks away, I have a second data center. Are you ready? Ready, yeah. Yeah, because something is wrong in the building, starting running the application in the second data center, yeah. And the people? What are the people? You say me, is this main building, is the main data center, and it's my seat for my customer and users. I have the data, but no seat for my end user. It's true, eh? Yeah. The way was moved from contingent side to operation, because they are no, because what said before to the manager. But yeah, what you think in the art is not only the data center, it's not only where you run the application. You're thinking in the end user, because if the end user don't access to application, it's nothing. So, the other problem is thinking this, okay, is different way to approach for legacy application? Yeah, we compare with Kubernetes application. So, you had a fighting. Sorry. Probably, a major organization today, some exception is possible, but in our case always exists, is a bimodality. What is bimodality? Preserve legacy application and adopting the new one. And the business need both to running. So my DR need thinking in both environments with different requirements and a holistic view all. When you're thinking yes, no, private cloud, public cloud, no, please, no. It's not the problem. The problem is that. Doesn't matter whether you're running the application, the important thing is the idea behind. It's a legacy application, VM environment, traditional, or maybe the new one. And you need thinking that things. When you think Go, okay, is network extension needed always for the resilience? Remember the slide, what is the resilience is not included in the traditional application and provide requests to the inferencing. Why? Because I can change the IP address for my VMs. Is problem for the network? No. I am a network guy. I remember a lot of problems with spanning tree. Layer 2 extension is nothing like it. I prefer anything layer 3. But it's not possible to change the IP. So, network extension is right, but you need it in the right way to some case. To Kubernetes, you need extend the network. Doesn't matter. And starting to thinking about what happened between ability zone, a single region to handle with different ability zone, very common to public cloud thing, but it's the idea with data center when they stretch things, or two different split environments, like two different environments. I know it's all, but the all VMware validated design thinking about region versus region or yes, but the concept remains the same. It's important to see. The same for the security. Is always needed a firewall APS? Yeah, no. What? Where did you put the firewall and APS in a Kubernetes cluster? You had an AKS? Yeah. Where did you come? I had the firewall. No. For the security, targets, objectives, that is the remain. The tool changed because the environment changed. I had a hammer. I think like everything is a nail. But sometimes I need a screwdriver. The objective is the same, but the tool is different. And when you go and go and go in each stage in my company, I have different vision. And that is the problem. For true, comfortable, 100% or close 100 DR function, you need a holistic view. You need the best of each team, but work together with a single vision. If your work isolate, you go to the disaster. And not the disaster recovery, to the worst disaster. It's the same problem when you're talking about cloud. Cloud usually starting with some people in DevOps, and when they go in production and you have maybe 1 million users like running your application, we need something about security. It's later. So my idea is create no that thinking what happened this weekend because we're changing something in data center. Some go to call me, yes, no. I need go to sleep, relax. And that is a change the mind. We need work together. All the expertise for each team to create a real DR. If I achieve that point, that's my next meeting room. Because I don't have enough time to go deeper, my last year or 2 years ago, very good tip, suggestion, see the video library. This year is something adapted. But you have, for traditional situation, what happened, what is the common with the stretch zone? One region, two availability zone. Or, additionally, you have a second session, what two different regions, no stretch networks, and provide the same thing. Going deeper, you have to know more detail, but try keep everything together. And in the same perception, when you go to the Kubernetes side, you have that idea. First one, how running some Kubernetes cloud native application today in the organization? Nobody? 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 Okay. What's the classic problem? I had a web frame running in pubs, wherever, middleware service, okay, wherever, and the data? I know it's still running in the VM in virtual machine someplace. What happened with the problem? No, I want an active. Yeah. My front end is active, yes. My middleware, yes. My database, no, it's active standby. If you think in that problem, if you have only one engine active, you try keep the user ingress or egress. For other side, you have go to the first side, come back. Sure, the experience for the customer is not enough good. It's worse. So, for a true active, you need all layers active. And when talking around on something very, very long distance, it's not possible the traditional way to provide data protection works. You go this week about data service, is the idea. Move it, the VM data like an additional Kubernetes site supported. But sometimes doesn't matter. Sometimes you have the database in the VM space. You have need the contingency. You have the resilience. When you're talking about that, the first, if you have a cluster Kubernetes, you lost a pod, what happened? I have inside the Kubernetes instruction to create a new one and provide my resilience in the Kubernetes remediation level. The same is I lost a worker. What happened? It's a VM, so it's possible at the same time have ability for recover the application because it's the worker. Okay, but what happened if I lost everything in one side? If I have something to split what is healthy, I can select the first or the second side. Okay, Waldemar, but what translate this decision? Put everything together. First one, you need combine the GSLB, the global site selector. How select one, another site. No split the network. It's Kubernetes. No need to stretch the network. And the second one, you need a healthy check what happened, because the user go to you and the DNS, the GSLB service, select for the healthy in the site, was okay, was no. It's a DNS, yes, but it's not round robin, because the decision to the A register depends in the health back. It's working, yeah. It's go to you, it's select, and this provide for you both solution, active, standby. Depend the priorities in both GSLB is possible to handle. But remember, for active, I need split all layer, include the database. But you're talking about vModal IT. So I have legacy, I have new. So okay, that presentation is okay for different aspects, but what happened? I have everything together. The idea behind what we're talking about VMware Cloud, let me simplify the idea, is a single stack running vSphere, vSAN, and NSX. Doesn't matter where you run that stack. Is VMware Cloud running in on-premise? VMware Cloud Foundation. Is running VMware Cloud in AWS? VMware Cloud in AWS. Is you running in Azure? Azure. The name changed because the provider is different, but the concept is the same. It's VMware Cloud. Maybe you're running VMware Cloud in the on-premise. Maybe you have two sites. Maybe some part of the application need stretch network because it's traditional and it's not possible to change the IP. But when the running Kubernetes application doesn't exist because the concept is different, because running GCLB, wherever things are wrong. It's possible to combine in single solution both? Yeah. When you're starting with VMware Cloud Foundation, you have the possibility to handle the legacy application. And at the same time, if you're running TKG Kubernetes or vSphere with Kubernetes, with Tanzu, the name changed a lot of time, but doesn't matter. But the idea is you have the solution for that. It's possible, yeah. But Waldemar, what create these strange things? Don't break the idea of the brain. You have solution already. Repeat. You remember the old VMware Validate design? Yeah, now it's VMware Validate solution. Why is the idea behind? The same. Why I select that? Because some guy, or several guys, put in the design idea, put the pro and cons for each stage of taking, okay, this is my decision, I know this pro, I know this con, and that is my selection. It's table with people smarter like me, very smart, know me. And I can't say my problem, yeah, forget that. But it's your responsibility to think in the pro, in the cons, and handle the risk in each case. That is different. It's possible to select my own design, yeah, but it's at my risk. If I take solution, I have the detail what is in the consideration. It's more useful for consumer. Okay, Waldemar, but what happens if something is wrong, is not something running in my on-premise? Yeah, the traditional problem. You have the cloud service. What is? When you expand that, maybe, it's again, this VMware bubble running in each place, the VMware cloud, or maybe native public cloud. And sometimes you see the Tanzu portfolio, you have the chance, the possibility to take in a AKS Kubernetes or EKS Kubernetes, Azure, AWS, whatever, and put above Tanzu Mission Control, Tanzu Service Mesh. In the end, it doesn't matter what is the source for the Kubernetes. The important thing is to handle all together. So cross-cloud service size. Use the VMware vision and the tools to handle traditional infrastructure, new infrastructure, hybrid cloud, Kubernetes, Tanzu, or Kubernetes vanilla. doesn't matter. And why say that? Because tomorrow, for example, I had two parts, 1 and 2, talking specifically around network and security things to network and security people about Kubernetes, and not TKJS, to everything Kubernetes vanilla. We need ingress the people network security in this topic. If network security people, include me, see Kubernetes is not my problem, stay at time. When something happened, yeah, and will happen, the people request for you, you help. And you need to start ready for that problem. Sí, un comentario final. Si alguno habla español o castellano, también lo habla. It's a short vision, it's not deep dive, it's a short session. But the idea is starting to think different. We need a change in the mindset. We need to see holistic view. No, because my learning, my skill doesn't matter. No, it's important. But each expertise in my organization need a new holistic view for a lot of things, including to prepare a disaster recovery. If you like it, please don't forget to survive.
Okay. Thank you guys for joining in. How has the day been? Quite hectic? I'm sure you guys have gone through a lot of sessions, right? Don't worry, we won't take much time. It's just a 30-minute session. So let's get started. It's a standard disclaimer. You guys might have seen this in all the events that is happening. So I'll just pause for a couple of seconds and get started. Here is the agenda that we are going to go through. We will see the challenges, few of the deep dives, and the key takeaways on how we are using ARIA operations for logs in our IT environment in VMware. Okay, so before I start the journey with the logs, how many of you run the IT shop or work closely with the IT shop? Okay. I have a question for you guys. Have you come across a scenario where you haven't seen any issues or errors in your IT? No, right? Issues and errors are bound to happen. But when they happen, they generate a lot of logs. These kind of applications that we have today are microservice architecture, containerized. They generate a lot of logs. But when they do, identifying that singular anomaly which can help us troubleshoot the problem is very tough, right? That's what we are going to discuss today. In our IT, we have 120,000 logs coming into ARIA operations for log every second. That's the number we have. So I am Vamshi Kiran from Observability and Tools. Along with me, I have Fazil, who is a technical expert on ARIA operations for logs. Let's get started. So this is our log journey. Fazil is going to take us through this journey, and he will also help us understand how he was able to troubleshoot and using the best practices that he has come up with a scenario that I just explained where you are able to identify the issues and errors quickly.
Thanks, Vamshi. My name is Faisal. I am part of VMware IT. As Vamshi mentioned, how VMware IT uses ARIA operation for logs for their day-to-day operations. So, as most of you are familiar, ARIA operation for logs, the formal name was VMware Log Insight. Log Insight is an enterprise log aggregator tool that collects logs from your public, private, and hybrid cloud. It gives the entire visibility of your logs by using machine learning capabilities of ARIA operation for logs. So it adds structures to your unstructured data. So before we get into the performance and scalability of ARIA operation for logs, let us take a deep dive. The best architect we follow within VMware, and we do recommend the same to our customers as well. So if you see here, we do have a couple of data centers across the globe. We're running 63 data centers across multiple geolocations. Getting the logs from all the locations becomes a tedious task. Now, within VMware IT, we do follow the architect, which is distributed architect. We have the central log insight cluster deployed in one data center, and we have the forwarders which are running on the remote data centers. Now the question may come up, why we need the remote log forwarders? Why can't we directly send everything to the centralized one? Now, when you are running a small data centers on the remote site, if you lose your network connectivity, if the logs are directly going to the centralized one, you are blind. You don't have any visibility on the logs, what's happening. Now, if you have the forwarder, it collects logs locally, it gives you the mechanism, filter and forward. basically, you can send the required logs to the centralized server that reduce your bandwidth, that increase the performance of your log inside cluster. Second thing, in case of network loss, this piece has a capability to have cache those logs around 2 GB. Once the network restores, it sends that back that it logs to the centralized server. And we do use something called integrated load balancer, which is basically the VIP IP. We are not using any traditional load balancer. It's a default which comes with ARIA operation for logs. For a single cluster deployment, you can have 60 ILBs created. I will talk in the coming slides what are the functionalities of ILB. And ARIA operation for logs support 2 protocols. One is CF API, which is the ARIA operation for agents, which is called login site agent, earlier name, and the syslog protocol. So you can push logs from your network devices using the syslog protocol, or if you are running the application server, which is running on VM, which is running on containers, we can deploy the login site agent to get the logs from that. And we do have 2 offerings. One is the on-prem offering, one is a cloud offering, which is running on SaaS. So in the SaaS version, it's a same deployment. Only the thing, you need to deploy a proxy. Proxy is nothing but the gateway services between your private and the VMware SaaS services. So the proxy will collect the logs and send those logs to the SaaS ARIA operation for logs. So we do an integration with multiple service providers like GCP, AWS, Azure. So if you have workloads running on these service providers, we can fetch the logs and show in a single pane of glass.
OK, so I have a question for you, Fazil.
Yes, sure.
Let me make it more interesting. I did come across customers saying that I have about 100 TB of logs. And it goes with all of us over here. There will be multiple teams who are sending the logs to login site, right? It's a huge volume. So how do we manage this volume?
Right. The best practice we follow is when you have multiple systems which are sending logs to a centralized place, at that time, it becomes very hard for IT administrator to differentiate the logs from where those logs are coming from. That's why we call it integrated load balancers. You can have a dedicated ILB created for a particular service. For example, I can send my vSphere logs to a dedicated integrated load balancer. And not only that, I can add a metadata tag to the incoming logs, saying that these logs are coming from my vSphere infrastructure. And if you have network logs, you can have a dedicated ILB created for that and give a metadata tag saying that these logs are coming from my network gears. Similarly, if you have applications which are running on microservices, you can have a multiple ILBs created and add a metadata tag. Now, why we need those? Tomorrow, you have a security audit. This set of logs should be viewed by only specific set of teams. And these set of logs should be viewed by specific set of teams. So you can create a rollback. Login site gives you the functionality to create a data sets. With that, you can apply the rollback access control. Only that set of people can view those logs if we have the proper tagging in place. Now, as I mentioned earlier, for a single deployment, we can create up to 60 ILBs. If you see the demo, it's simple. You create a static IP with a DNS entry on it, and we can add a metadata tag. Once it is done, it takes fraction of seconds to appear on the cluster admin page. Once it is done, you can see in my infrastructure, I almost created like 10 ILBs. Now, if I had to search the logs, I don't have to tell millions of logs or thousands of logs. I can use a single keyword, saying the metadata tag what we have used to search those logs. It makes job easy for administrator, for searching, for alerting, and for troubleshooting. Not only that, it increases the performance of ARIA operation for logs cluster. In the sense, like if you send everything to a single VIP, it creates a back pressure on your cluster. At that time, what happens? Your alerts, your queries may get delayed. But if you are using multiple ILBs, it helps to distribute the incoming request across all the nodes on your cluster. Thus, improves the performance of ARIA operation for logs. Now, second question is, how do you, the usability of ARIA operation for logs? Now, many of you have the deployments which are running on on-prem, multi-cloud, or hybrid cloud. When you have the application distributed across multiple service providers, how do you get the visibility, the granular visibility, the single pane of glass visibility on my infrastructure logs? So if you see in this demo, we have the application which is running on AWS. We have 2 on-prem data centers. Now, how do we get a single pane of glass visibility for all my logs? And if there is any anomaly within the logs, how do I get notified? So with ARIA operation for logs, the SaaS version, we can get all the logs from the different log sources. And anytime, if there is an event within those log sources, we can either send the email notification, we can send PagerDuty, we can Slack. Based on the exceptions, not only that, I can see the trend of events, like how is the trend, whether it's going down, whether it's coming down. By looking at the trend, you can have a baseline threshold, and you can get notified if there is any anomaly within your infrastructure.
Okay, we did talk about the performance and usability, which is a great aspect to have, and also it helps us to address those. But what about the efficiency and supportability?
Now, how many of you here are running on-prem ARIA operation for logs?
Oh,
And is it single cluster or multiple clusters? So when you are running multiple clusters, it becomes very hard to manage, administer them. Like if you have, within IT, we do run almost like 50-odd ARIA operation for logs cluster. With the federated log management, we give us unified view across all your on-prem ARIA operation for logs clusters to view from a single console. So with the release of 8.12, you can integrate your on-prem ARIA operation for logs with the SaaS version. So doing so, if during troubleshooting, you don't have to log into multiple clusters to see what is happening. It's a single pane of glass from the SaaS solution. You can run the queries across multiple on-prem clusters. The data is sitting locally. You are not sending it to the cloud, but the queries which are being run are shown in the cloud. Thus, it helps administrator to easily troubleshoot any application issue within their infrastructure. So in this demo, if you can see how we can integrate your on-prem cluster with ARIA operation for SaaS. So it's a very simple configuration. On the SaaS side, we create the API key, basically the token. We take that token, go to ARIA operation for on-prem. On the SaaS integration, we key in those details. Once it is done, it takes a fraction of seconds to show my entire cluster status on the SaaS side. So if I go back to the SaaS, so I can see, I can add the filter here, on-prem cluster. You can add, as on today, we do support up to 10 on-prem clusters. I can run queries from the SaaS version of ARIA operation for logs. And even if you have multiple clusters, you can add multiple queries from a single pane of glass.
so it can be a mixture of both on-prem and
Yes.
cloud. That's great. All right, so this is one of the queries that most of us have with regards to the deployment. I spend a lot of time in upgrading the agents. I spend a lot of time in keeping it up to the date. How it has changed over a period of time, Fazil?
Well, in the earlier version of ARIA operation for logs, we have the we install the agents on the end target VMs. Now, over a period of time, it becomes overhead for IT administrator. Whenever I upgrade my cluster from one version to another version, I have to upgrade the agent also to make sure there are no vulnerabilities left out. Now, with the latest version, whenever you upgrade your on-prem cluster to the latest version, the agents will get automatically upgraded. So I don't have to manually go raise a ticket with IT support folks, try to upgrade my agents. So you are always on the latest and the greatest version on the agent side. Not only that, you can push the config changes to your agents from a single pane of glass. So ARIA operation for logs will act as a deployment server. If I have a set of VMs, for example, 100 VMs, I want to get where log messages from all those 100 VMs. Now, I can create a config property on the UI side and click on save. It is a click of a button, we can get the configuration pushed to 100 of the VMs. It saves time, also increase efficiency. Now, if you see here, we're enabling the flag auto upgrade of agents. What does that mean? Whenever I upgrade my cluster or a operation for logs, the agents will get automatically upgraded to the version where my service is running. So now there might be the scenario, some SOC systems, they don't want touch. They don't want anything happen to on those servers. Now how do I exclude those VMs? Not to get auto upgraded. So in this demo, I'll showcase how we can exclude those subset of VMs not to get auto upgraded. So I can create the admin agent group, and you can see the version, which version we are running. And on the client side, where the VMs has the agent we are not supposed to upgrade, we need to comment out this line. So we comment out, that means we are making sure we are not upgrading this agent. So once it is done, whenever we upgrade, that particular agent will not get auto-upgraded.
All right, we spoke about the performance, usability, and now we are here with the stability. Okay, so this is one great question. So log size support, we did talk about the ILB, but how do I reduce the log size and keep it optimum?
Sure. We had a challenge. When we migrated from on-prem to the SaaS version, the initial cost, monthly cost was like minimal, but it keep on growing. And we had to reduce it. But we don't know how to do it, because we started the migration journey, but we were not knowing how much it is going to cost us. Now, with the log size support, we can figure it out, what is the size of the events, whether it's really required to be sent to the SaaS version, or we can drop it. With the granular log size support, we can figure it out for the migration journey towards cloud. So we were in the plan when the management asked how much it would cost if we migrate to cloud. We were blank, because all the permutation, combination, what we were doing, it's just like we take the roughly size of the events, do the calculation, but that was not exactly correct. But with the log size support, we can get the granular size of the events. And when we move to cloud, we can see, okay, when we move from on-prem to cloud, this how much it would cost. Now, when we have this scenario, can move to the next slide. Now, in this demo, we show like how we can showcase the size of the event. So not only that, it groups the similar events together. So we can see the event trend and event types. The type of events, it uses the machine learning capabilities to group similar type of events. So we can figure it out whether these logs are really required for my day-to-day operation, or we can drop those logs. So next thing is the cost optimization. Now, when we have everything in place, now how we can reduce the cost? We have the feature, no other tool provides that feature. Even we ingest the log, we have option called log drop. Log drop is basically to drop the irrelevant logs which are coming to my ARIA operation for logs. You can create a filter based on the host name, based on the keyword, or based on any other criteria. Normally what happens, right, when the developers enable the debug log on their application, the ingestion volume from 1x, it becomes to 10x. And it's hard to control at that time, those debug messages. Now what we can do, we can create a rule here, we can create a drop rule here, where we say, any log which has a debug in it, drop those events. Or if we have to use those logs, we have something called index and non-index partition. Index partition is nothing, the live storage, where we can retrieve logs anytime. The non-index partition is a cold storage, which is basically the archival. So once we create that filter, all those events will automatically get dropped. And we will not charge, VMware will not charge for those drop events. And now we can see the trend. When we enable the drop, the trend has reduced. The ingestion flow, which was coming to the ARIA operation process, it will reduce drastically.
Okay, so what if I need those logs later?
Yeah, we have something called, as I mentioned, the non-index partition. We can either send it to the index partition. If we don't need, we can create a bucket, send it to the non-index partition, which is basically the archival partition. Even though we have some feature called recall log partition, if we need those logs for troubleshooting, I can recall those logs and view those logs.
Okay. This is one of my favorite, okay, root cause analysis. Whatever we spoke, everything boils down to this: when the issue happens, how do I find it faster?
Okay,
how do I troubleshoot?
How many here are doing the root cause analysis manually? Good. Okay.
Okay.
Isn't it amazing if the tool does it for us? Yes, no, maybe. Okay. Root cause analysis, it's a framework that provides machine learning capabilities to find needles in the haystack. When one has to do the root cause analysis, he has to narrow down to the ARIA operation for logs, search thousands of logs, start adding keywords until they found something. This could be the complete waste of office resources, as manual RCA can take hours, sometimes days. Now, with the log RCA capability, we can use machine learning to find needles in the haystack. Also, to detect any anomalies, application crashes, or kernel panics within your application.
Okay, I think let me go again. Yeah.
Okay, in this demo, we have a Python-based web application. I'm going to kill my Apache web service. So once I kill my Apache web service, I'll go back to the browser to see what happened. My application is down. All I know, my application went down. I got a call from our NOC team saying that application went down. Now I can go back to the analytics, log RCA, click on new investigation report. So in the investigation report, I can give the name, and I can see what time the incident had started. I'm only just keying in the date and time. No keywords, no errors, no exception, no server name. So I'm selecting the priority high and click on start. It takes a couple of minutes to give me the investigation report. Once the investigation report is ready, I can open it, further drill it down to see what exactly happened with my application server. Now you can see here multiple results has come up. The one with the top score, 100, I'll go into that. So once you see the events, it is showing a nasty error detected in the parent process. Normally, when somebody kills the Apache process forcefully, this is the error we can see. Now I can open a ticket with the Apache team saying that somebody has killed the Apache service. It just took a couple of minutes to get me the RCA report. I didn't add any keyword, I didn't add any host name, or I didn't add any exceptions. Tool was able to provide me, only I enter the date and time. What time, like approximate date, what time the issue had occurred. and it give me the RCA report.
That's quite amazing, Fazil. Okay, so let me talk about the key takeaways. So, as Fazil mentioned, be prudent about the logs that you are forwarding. Filter the ones which are not required. Horizontal and vertical scaling is up to your environment, how you want to design. And the ease of administration, of course, he did cover in later dashboards. Any questions, please? Yeah.
We can take it offline.
Okay, we can take it offline. Okay,
Yeah.
I think questions we'll take it offline. This is how you guys can contact us and get to know more about how we have implemented in IT, and you can make use of all those best practices that we have done in our IT. Gentlemen,
so much.
this is ARIA Operations for Logs.
Thanks.
Thank you.